Yes, my people. Welcome to another episode of Blocks and Bags. I'm your boy Beach,
I'm your boy Seb.
and as always, this is a show around business, around culture, around creativity. Um, this is a special episode. We've got two entrepreneurs who are building interesting things right now, and I'm very excited to hear what 2022 has been like for them, what they're building right now, how they keep their mindset clear when they're trying to get their goals, and maybe have an open discussion about getting
Yeah,
to the bag.
let's talk about it.
Um, so two guests who I know personally, Odudu I've known since I was 12. I featured in his film. Rama, I spoke at her event at the start of this year at Libertines. And I find both of you very interesting in how you approach how you work. You're not kind of just building one brand, you're kind of involved in a few different things. I'd love for you guys to introduce yourselves to the audience, what you do, and then also what some of your side hustles, because I feel like that's something quite powerful about what you guys both do. And it links to an episode we did earlier this year about side hustles that can generate revenue for you in 2023. So without further ado, Rama, do you want to go first and then Odudu?
Sure. So I'm Rama. I'm the founder of the Afro Club 5. So the Afro Club 5 is essentially a home for Black creative. We curate events in London and we want to involve the community. Um, I started this project because I thought we should build something for ourselves, right? I see the Afro Club 5 as an opportunity for everyone to get involved, no matter your level in life. So usually during our events, we have entrepreneurs, we have business owners, we have anyone that has a real talent to be part of our events, you know. But we don't only do that, we also create organic content to inspire Black entrepreneurs. And we also try to make sure that everyone that is part of our community, understand they are unique, you know, that they love themselves and they don't have to change themselves to fit it into different criterias, or to get a job that maybe they will have to change, you know, their hair. As a Black woman, I have, you know, struggled with that one. So I'm really passionate about it. So I really want that platform to be an inspiration for our community. You come as you are, and you are always, always welcome. So this is the Afro Cup 5. I am also a singer. I haven't released any music yet, but actually I am performing on the 21st of April, where you will hear my music for the first time. So I'm really excited about that. I also work in business as head of operation for a company that deals with payment rates with AMA Payment and WorldPay. So this is me.
Yeah, so my name's
Odudu.
Odudu. That's my government name, but I go by Emilio. So I'm a life coach, a motivational speaker, and an author of a book called Why Aren't You Successful Yet? And that book itself touches on my journey from all the different things I've done in my past, from being a music producer, audio engineer, rapper, to working in influencer marketing, sales, fundraising, charity, working in the charity sector, working in events management. The list is fairly endless. But at the same time, as far as my mission now, what I do as with a coach as a speaker is to help people identify and confirm what a great life looks like for them, whilst also aligning their lifestyle to make it happen.
Both of you are clearly juggling different things, but super clear on what you're building, your North Star with your coaching and obviously with the platform you've built. Um, was it easier setting up your business? Like, what are the things that you know now that you wish you knew then?
I would say I could give you 1 hour answer on that alone, but I would say the fact that I had to take many different turnings to truly appreciate and understand what my path really has been. It's been difficult, but I also realized that what can make things difficult is when it's not really your path. Because everything's difficult, but sometimes when you have that passion, not even sometimes, oftentimes, when you got a real passion for it and your desire is greater than your fear, a lot of those obstacles don't feel too challenging.
I think for me was the fact that you have to know the path is abstract. It can be abstract from the beginning, and as you go along in that journey, you will start to change a few things as you go. But some people never start their businesses because they think that they're not perfect at the moment. But I took the liberty to start something as soon as possible because I already had that tunnel vision. But it always changes in the way. As long as you kind of know where you are going, I think that it's okay to have.
And there's a word that I hear coming up a lot when I hear about business and culture, and that's the word purpose. Purpose sort of run businesses and purpose-led founders. Would you both consider yourself purpose-led? And if so, how does that kind of relate to your business? Does purpose and business and making money go hand in hand? Yeah.
I would say they don't have to run hand in hand, but you got to feel the difference.
Okay.
So if it doesn't feel, if it's not going hand in hand, it's not aligned together, you might feel, you know what, we're making good money,
Yeah.
but there's something not quite right. Same way you might have a purpose without a level of finances you want, and you may feel like I'm doing something that makes you feel fully fulfilled, but I'm not necessarily taking care of the lifestyle that I wanted.
Yeah.
So it's about aligning the two together. It's not mutually exclusive, in my opinion. And there can be many different things you're good at that you could set up a business in,
Yeah.
but it may not necessarily fulfill you. So it is a journey. It takes however long it can take. It can take some people 5 years, it can take someone else 50 years. But as long as you're always being prepared to try, you can actually align the two together in a way that you never thought was possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's important to, again, ask yourself what is the purpose of the business, and no matter who you encounter during that, your your way of making your way there, don't change it for anyone, and make sure that you stay aligned with that. Because some people, well, I've seen it done quite a few times where people change because of the money and the input that's starting to go inside a company, and they starting to forget about the community that's behind them to support them. And the community is actually the thing that is making your business grow as well as you are. So I think it's very important to stay
Yeah.
aligned with that as well.
And a final point I'll add as well is your purpose. Oftentimes you can think about, what should my purpose be in relation to others?
Yes.
When I think you should be the first recipient of your own purpose. So even with my journey on my book, the journey of the book was about answering that question for myself.
Yeah.
And then from there, I then realized, you know what? Quite a few of the answers I came to is something that a lot of people could relate to as well. So by that same context, the reason why it's important to tie it to yourself is we can feel tempted to perform to others without really addressing what we need out of life. When you can actually serve others by first looking into and trying to serve what matters to you.
Yeah, I think many people go through that same journey. It doesn't have to be the same, but it's very similar. As an entrepreneur, it's always quite hard to start and to keep, the hard work going sometimes when there's so much noise outside. So you have to keep focus and, push a bit harder.
I couldn't agree with you more. And literally, one of the first reasons, it was so important, I called it reason zero, for why I didn't feel like I was successful yet, was the simple fact that I didn't accept and I didn't stand up for what was my definition of success. And what can often happen is, whether it's family, whether it's friends, or just people you see, if you don't have an idea of what success means to you, someone's going to project what they think is a good idea for you to you. So it could be an example of, you always wanted to do law, but your family have tried to convince you or project to you that accounting is the way to go. So yeah, I can definitely resonate with what you just said there. Yeah.
I know just that journey of like purpose is one that's so interesting, and kind of like silencing the outside noise to figure out who you want to be is like such an important thing for all founders, and such an important thing for everyone as you're trying to get to the bag, as you're trying to just even make your dream happen. Yeah, even myself, and many times at different points when come up, especially when things are not like super clear. I've been so tempted to kind of get a job, or so tempted to just go uni when I was much younger, and I'm so happy I stuck with the resilience and kind of like didn't just succumb to pressure or succumb to, what looks more colorful outside, but didn't really sit good with my soul. Um, in your book and obviously with yourself when you're, building your platform, how have you had to overcome like self doubt?
Okay, so funny enough, I usually use that sentence every time I think something is still hard to achieve. I think about that guy that came with the idea of building a plane. Everyone must have thought this guy is crazy. There is no way something is going to float above the air. No one understood gravity back then. So if that idea was, came to life, I think my ideas can too. And that's the that's one thing that I always use for myself. But I also understand, I have so many role models around me. And I see so many good things happening in my community as well. And I want to be part of that, but I also want to give back to the community as well as doing something for myself and something I love. So I always said, you know what, even for my singing, for example, I want to be performing in my own events. I want to do things on my term and not anyone else's term. So that's why I come up with Afro Club 5. Come where you are welcome. Come where you can relate to other people. You see people that look like you. You don't have to change. So, yeah. This is
I would say I had to get to the real root of my self doubt. And at the heart of my self doubt wasn't just the feeling that I wasn't good enough. It was, I believed I had to be perfect to be good enough. And what was funny about it was that thought process wasn't even about how I saw the world. It was how I thought I had to be. So as I felt like I had to play the game of life by being perfect, I would actually used to develop resentment towards people around me who would achieve the outcomes I wanted without being perfect. And then what I soon realized and how I overcome my doubt is to realize I don't have to be perfect to get the outcomes I'm looking for. If anything, there's more value in the imperfection than perfection. So it's funny how some of the most important elements of life to us is other people, friends, family, and they're the furthest thing from perfect. Yet, why do myself in the beginning of my journey and others place such value on perfection? So just understanding that I don't have to have everything the way I wanted it to be to get the outcome I'm looking for is how I work through my doubts. And we still have them. Like, it doesn't matter how much work I've done, I still have them, but they're just part of the conversation. Doesn't mean they have to be the leading part of who you are.
Let's get vulnerable, actually.
Part of my job.
Yeah, let's get vulnerable. So 2020, 2021 was a hard year for everyone. The world is in lockdown. 2022, things are starting to get back to normal. I'd say 2023 is really like the first proper full year where everyone's kind of stepping outside and doing their thing. What are some of the doubts or challenges? We've already had a quarter go through 2023, but what have been some of the doubts and challenges that you've been thinking to yourself over this kind of year, and how do you think you're going to overcome that? I'll give you one example. I have this doubt and self-fear that, we're doing this podcast, we're doing this show, and I'm just like, is it gonna be something? Like, I know it's amazing and I love speaking to the guests, but I'm like, I feel like I'm investing so much in it, like hope, so much energy, telling all my friends and family about it, and then I have a doubt or a fear that it's not going to like blow up or explode, or it's not gonna make the returns for me as fast as I want it to or when I want it to. So I'm just like, I don't know where this is going to kind of go. So it's kind of like a bit of lack of a safety net, and just investing in something where I know it'll be successful to some extent, but I just don't know how. So yeah, I'm just on this kind of journey, and I'm just kind of, I'm on a journey with my guy here, but like, it is a journey, and there are doubts, and it's always trying to like constantly like battle that and be like, okay, cool, let's plan our next shoot, let's just keep going. So yeah.
Before I even share my answer, I want to throw a question at you to kind of help, because I definitely can relate. Are you enjoying the process?
I'm loving the process.
It's
hard though. It's hard and there's so much to learn, but I do love it.
Because you know what it is?
It's not easy though.
The reason why I asked that question is because what can happen is people can pursue a destination,
Yeah.
and to them it's such a beautiful thing that the process itself isn't enjoyable, so they endure it for the sake of this perceived feeling of once they reach that destination.
Yeah.
The problem then can happen is what can happen if you feel that you get to the destination, but the feeling doesn't validate the process. That can set aside so much potential mental and emotional issues. So it's important to find a process you love. And by that same token, of course, going for an outcome and the destination is important. But just through going through the process, you're not in a place where I have to get this outcome because I don't like the process.
Yeah.
So even by that same context, even myself, one of the things, because I used to do music, one of the things that I realized about music, so even going back to 2021 and 2020, I actually transitioned from a musician and a music tutor to a life coach. And the reason why, part of that journey, when I was asking myself this question in the book, was realizing that with the music, I liked the outcomes, I just didn't like the process. And not liking the process is what makes people give up in certain moments in time. So I do a podcast. This is only going to be worth it if it pops off within 3 months or whatever time.
Million subscribers in 3 months.
Exactly. And one of the things I've known about success is it happens when it happens. And most people have no idea when it does happen.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of we're just here enjoying the moment, enjoying the process. My win is based on the present moment rather than this needs to happen. Don't get me wrong though, I appreciate to get real success, you're going to have to put yourself in places of real discomfort where we've put in X amount of effort or X amount of resources. This has to work. But the element of that process then becomes, I'm proud of myself for just taking that big of a risk. I'm going to be okay because people who are successful are comfortable taking that types of risk on a regular basis. And then more often than not, they will succeed.
I feel like success is also has its own definition to everyone, right? Success doesn't have to be money. It could be, like you said, I've achieved something and I've put my mind to it and I'm ready to put the work for it, right? I do have that myself sometimes when I wake up. But that's because we tend to compare ourselves sometimes and we don't do it on purpose. We share, the same path as many people in different ways, but we're trying to make it unique so then we can blow up in a different way. And I think sometimes I question myself because I know many people, for example, they do events, but I like to believe that what I do is very different because I really genuinely care about the community. And I want to make it a home for people to feel safe. And you know Amazon, right? Everyone goes to Amazon.
Yeah.
Anything you want to find in Amazon, you will get. And I want the Afro Club 5 to be the same for people. And this is why I wake up. Whenever I have doubts, I remember I will get there one day. And this will be, the center of our community. Whoever thinks there's a place for them, there will be in the Afro Club 5. So yeah, I do have that. I think we all have them, but you can overcome anything if you put your mind to it. And this is the truth. Don't give up, because if you give up, someone else will take your place or you just let your idea die. Especially if it's a great one, don't do it. Just keep going if it's what your heart, feels like it's the right thing.
Yeah. I have to say, I forgot, I spent time addressing what you mentioned, so I didn't give you my answer. I'm not trying to deflect. So literally, in terms of my challenge has been, I would say 2020 and 2021 was probably the best year of my life.
Oh, man.
Because you know what it was? When that pandemic came, literally, I'm thinking to myself, there are people who become billionaires or there's billionaires who are rubbing their hands at this moment. So for every great bad time, there's been people who created great outcomes from it. So in my mind, before realizing how it was going to be, I'm like, I need to understand how I can have this to my benefit. So even with the book, it came to that. So my biggest challenge has been one of my biggest challenges in terms of why I haven't been successful yet. Trusting others. Who I am and what I want to do, I can't do alone. So bringing more people into, which I've been getting a lot better at, as well, is probably my greatest challenge. But again, no challenge can't be overcome.
And it's one of those things where you kind of have to trust the process, as they say, and keep putting steps forward. But yeah, that like what everyone said just made me think about a lot of things. I think 2020 and 2021 were a mixed bag for me. Some really, really amazing personal highlights, some really big challenges as you look after people when you pay them, you sort them out with opportunities, and when the pipeline of stuff dries up, you kind of have to reinvent yourself or reinvent your team, reinvent your business. So, but the other point, there is opportunities, and I definitely grew my presence, and I've done some things in the last 2 years or 3 years since 2020 that I wasn't doing before. I've delivered some talks for some very, very big prices from my house, like, and it's been acceptable and it's been well received, and people rebooked me. So yeah, just the process. You can never look back at the past and want to change things. But what I learned from the panoramic, it was that there's opportunities for you to select who you want to be. You just need to commit and kind of not beat yourself up too much about things, and just really take them steps forward. And when you need to take a break, a lot of people do subscribe to like a go go go
Hustle,
go go
hustle, hustle.
mentality,
No,
and
yeah.
I've
Good
done it.
time.
I've done it better times in my life, but in the panoramic, I set up an adventure club, and it's not a business. It's just something that came out of a personal need for me to find things to do with my friends, and new friends, in environments that don't always involve drinking. So, we've been out, we've done go karting, we've done dinners, we've done poetry nights, we've literally took over a gym and did a fitness thing. And for me, that rings true to my purpose in life, which is bigger than just the business. It's having fun, creating memories, and doing cool things with people. Um, so yeah, that's been a journey. You're both kind of solo in your work, but you obviously work with people and do stuff. Why have you both chosen to do this solo? And have you ever had business partners?
Here we go.
Yeah, why not? I started by myself because I believed that my idea needed to be developed, and I enjoy the process by myself actually. Um, but as things get not more complicated but grow, and you need a bigger team, you're still by yourself as the founder of the company, but you definitely need people to put some pieces together to make things go smoother.
Yeah.
But I've never worked with anyone, before, and I don't think I'm ready for it at the moment, just because I feel like my ideas are very unique to me, and I don't really know if I want to share it with someone else, or maybe I still have to, think about it more, because it's a fairly new company, so I don't think I should just say, okay, let's get someone else.
That's interesting.
So the short answer is Superman complex. So Superman complex or the Wonder Woman complex.
I love how you got the word for that. Yeah.
Yeah, literally, you're just used. literally, and you're just used to doing everything yourself. Like, just for backstory, so raised by my mum. My dad was around, but in different time periods. My mum was pretty much not even to do it yourself, do everything yourself. So I saw that style of leadership, and if you can't, what's the saying? It's off the top of my tip of my tongue. If you want it done right, do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's the one. So, and then my dad, by comparison, was the do nothing yourself. And whenever I was with him, I would literally see everyone else doing the work. He'd just stay in his office. He looked like he did nothing at all. And oftentimes as well, the relationship with family members at different times can also lead to what patterns of behavior you adopt. So my mum was definitely someone who I modeled from a business standpoint. But the reality is as well, I have worked with people in different capacities, but it was almost more from a place of it's either you're helping me with my thing or I'm helping you with your thing. That's the only way I could navigate the dynamic, because with
I
an
even
I
called him one time when I was like 15. I was like, "Oh, let's be business partners and something." And he was like, "No, it's not really gonna work for me, man."
yeah. So we ain't even
So he's talking truth.
yeah.
Wow.
But then we found
Fast
but-
forward.
but we found ways to work.
Yep.
But I've always had to badger him, be like, "Yo,
Let's do
come, like."
And you know what it is? It's funny you talk about that, because reason number 4 for why I wasn't successful yet was literally trust issues. Most of the time, the reason why human beings might find it difficult to work with each other or be with each other, even in the context of a relationship, is hurt. Either they was raised by people who was hurt by being together, or whether in a business or relationship capacity, or they themselves have experienced it. We as human beings, and believe me, I've tried to run away from this truth for a long time, we are actually better when we're together.
We are. I agree.
And by that same token, again, going back to what BJ's talked about, it's been a conversation we've had for many, many years. And sometimes as well, I also believed in the whole self-made fallacy. So when when you hear the self-made millionaire, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, so that means they did this without help.
Yeah.
And exactly. So even by that same token, because in my mind, what was then funny was I realized part of my drive was I wanted to show the world, especially people close to me, how great I was. And the best way to do that is to do it without you. So if I now meet you and I'm looking to do something with you to impress my inner circle, that I can do stuff, now you may become part of my inner circle. Now I feel like I have to almost do it outside of my inner circle. When the irony is, the biggest success I've ever achieved in my life came when I leaned into my inner circle and being comfortable with asking, because I'm happy to give help. But the idea of me receiving help, no, I'm just the person who gives help. And most of my clients, ironically, are like that, where they're so used to helping other people and being like the matriarch or patriarch of their circle. The idea of them receiving help is like a bit of a foreign concept.
I love to open myself to what's outside of what I do sometimes. And if I can't do something myself, I will always try to find someone that can do it as well, because I think sometimes it's out of your power to do everything yourself. And you have to understand that maybe there is great people out there that are willing to help you as well, and that are willing to put you on a pedestal, or help you with your business, because they have nothing, even when they have nothing to win or lose, they're just generally good people, right? So I think you have to open yourself sometime to what's out there. For a while I was actually like that as well. I didn't really trust people, and I didn't know how to, but one day I decided, why not? And that's when I realized things started to get better for me, because I realized that there is amazing people out there that are willing to work with you, and help you within that journey, to help you understand yourself as well, I think. Because when you open yourself to those people, you're kind of like a mirror, they generate all these positive energy into your business, and then you're able to give that back to them. And I think that's the beauty of it, to be honest.
And you know what's funny? Probably one of my biggest challenges when it came to bringing people in, even though I'm currently solo, I have a network of people who I lean to for help, is knowing your limitations, which is actually another value of mine. And again, when you go back to the Superman complex, in my man, limitations, I don't have that. But even recognizing that, yes, you can do something, but this takes you 2 hours to do. Someone highly skilled, it might take them 20 minutes to do. So you're not wrong, but at the same time, recognizing your limitations then makes it easier to bring people in. So that's been part of my journey. So I can definitely resonate with you on that element.
I love that. And I think just a final note to start wrapping it up as well is that in terms of looking for that community that you can reach out to and rely on for some help, I know in my life, this isn't a slight to my community and the people that I know, but the people from my block, I was always doing stuff, and I was always trying to bring people in, but they just wasn't on it, or maybe it wasn't their time just yet and whatnot. And I can't wait forever to get help from the people closest around me. So I think the real beautiful thing around the Blocks to Bags community that we've built, the WhatsApp group that we've built,
We
all
love
part
it,
of
by
that,
the
we
way.
love it, is
It's
that
amazing,
that's a
yeah.
community that you can reach out to for help. And I love how it's become digital now, and it's like you don't just have to look from around your block or your family or your close friends. You can actually reach out and start connecting with people who are part of this, who are driven by the sort of same mission and purpose and the same sort of vibe. So I think that's one of the beautiful things around Blocks to Bags, and it's definitely something that I'm gonna do, is gonna be asking for more help in that community, because what you said about the Superman complex and also about parenting, and I come from a single mother sort of background, and that really hit home for me. But I know that I do have a community as well with Blocks to Bags who can actually help me, because I know a lot of people, entrepreneurs, tech people, from like, they always feel like alone, and they feel like people are not really, they can't really help them in it. And that's why a lot of people listen to podcasts, they watch YouTube videos around entrepreneurs, because they feel those are the people that they can relate to and that kind of get the journey that they're on. So yeah, I just wanted to shout out the Blocks to Bags community as well, innit?
I
Like,
feel like
And-
I feel like those people also need to come out of their comfort zone. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand there's all that support out there. So I think they need to really watch this type of podcast and see that journey that we've been through.
Yeah.
And no, this is a beautiful platform, by the way. I love Blocks to Bags. We did a trip together a few days ago, and that was really good to see, everyone within the group face to face for the first time. So I really liked it.
Yeah, and also as well, to touch on your point, Seb, about the reaching out, I think the biggest thing that I had to realize that a lot of people may not, especially in business or entrepreneurship, is very easy to conflate education and information with skill. The only way you develop the skill is to keep trying and keep trying and keep doing and keep doing. Same way on my book, what kind of made it easier for me to really understand the value people have, I called it 12 pillars of people. So these are the 12 pillars that we have individually as well as other people, and how we can bring that into our lives, whether it's other people's knowledge or other people's experience or even other people's time and energy. And realizing, because oftentimes my lifestyle or my life has been, oh, just let us know whenever you need help. But then the question is, okay, but help me with what? Where can you help me? And even then understanding, okay, just because you can't help me with my plumbing doesn't mean you can't help me, because you might be a lawyer. You might be able to help me with something else that's just as important or more important. So yeah, practice would be my 2 cents on that.
Love that. Guys, that's been another episode of Blocks to Bags. If you guys want to join the community, we're launching the newsletter, so please sign up for that. We've also got a bunch of events happening, so get in touch and get down to experiences. We're going to plug in at the bottom of this Odudu's book, Why Aren't You Successful Yet? Key being the word yet. Also put up some of Rama's events coming up. Hope you guys stay blessed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, as it enables other people who are similar to you to see this content. Stay blessed.